I would love to discuss something about the failures, mistakes we made. The thing I feel most thankful is all the mistakes, all the refuse that I got. Because without that, there would never be Alibaba. In the past 18 years, every day we make mistakes. Every day we were rejected. I think being rejected, being refused by people, that is very natural. Because of so many mistakes, too much failure, that make me never complain. I went to even the KFC. When KFC come to us, say 24 people went for the job. 23 people accepted. I was the only guy. And we went for place. 5 people, 4 of them accepted. I was the only guy that I received it. So to me, being turned down, rejected. Oh, by the way, I told you that I applied for Harvard for 10 times, rejected. Why people should help you? You have to prove yourself. Then people would help you. Alibaba was not made today. Alibaba was made 18 years ago in my apartment. They're believing that using internet empower others, using internet to help young people, small business, and women will have bright future. So it's been 18 years hard working. We came here. I learned a lot from those people who failed. I learned a lot from those people who made mistakes. I learned a lot from my mistakes. Today, there are a lot of books about us. I don't read these books because I think these books not about us. People love to see successful stories, but most of the success stories, they succeed because of the mistakes. I encouraging all the young people, entrepreneurs, to learn from the mistakes. Do not study successful stories. Successful stories in the Harvard Business School, normally, there are a lot of things behind you don't know. But if you learn from the mistakes, if you learn, especially the failure case studies, it's going to help you. What I will say, it's not about you. You learn from mistakes does not mean you will avoid mistakes. You will learn the attitude towards these mistakes and never give up, fighting again. Of course, it's very painful when you're rejected, when you're refused. I went all around looking for money. Nobody give us the money. I all go around looking for partnerships. Nobody believe small business and e-commerce in China will work. Nothing is free. If you want to be successful, you have to pay the price. Today is very tough. Tomorrow is more tougher. The day after tomorrow is beautiful. But most people die tomorrow evening. You have to work very hard. Every tough days, every tough situations, problems in me, that is the training of yourself. Let me tell you, future is the opportunity for everybody, especially the opportunity for young people, because we have nothing to lose, right? This is what I tell myself 18 years ago. 18 years ago, we did not have money, so we have no money to lose. We don't have technology. We have no technology to lose. So stay foolish to your dream, and continue to fight. So this is what we did. As an entrepreneur, we never complain. When people complain, the opportunity comes. So if you can solve the complaints, that is your opportunity.
There are many I think there's like some entropic basis for this. Like there are many more ways to fail than to succeed. So you have to explore, particularly like for a rocket, there's like 1,000 ways a thing can fail and like one way it can work. So you could have a lot of rocket failures to explore all the ways in which it could fail. So, but I do think that one great thing about Silicon Valley is that failure is not a big stigma. So it's like if you try hard and it doesn't work out, that's okay. Like you can learn from that and do another company, and it's not a big deal. And I think that's really one of the great things about Silicon Valley. I think it's like quite painful and difficult, honestly. And it feels terrible. The company is sort of looking to, me to, rally them, and so I do. But I honestly feel super bad.
Like a punch in the gut?
Yeah.
I remember it's almost like like the stages of grief. I remember in Texas, it's kind of like sort of denial.
Yeah. It's particularly with rockets, it's just a really, rockets, space is hard, and rockets tend to fail, unfortunately. And even when you've got like a lot of really smart people working super hard to minimize the probability of failure, it's still there, and it's quite significant. People have asked me like, well, why are rockets especially hard. And part of it is like everything has to work the first time. Like there's no, you can't do a recall, you can't patch it. It's like 9 minutes to orbit or it's over. You can never test the rocket completely in the environment that it's actually going to experience. So you can't fully recreate something that's moving super fast in a vacuum on the surface of Earth. Like you can only really recreate that in space. If there's any error between the simulation and reality, and there's always some amount of error, then that can result in a failure. So it's a really, really tricky one. It's like, in a software analogy, it would be like if you had to write a whole bunch of software modules and you can never run them together, and you couldn't run them on the target computer. Like when you're testing them, you'd have to test them individually and not in the actual computer that they're going to run on. Then you put all the modules together, run it for the first time in a completely different or very different computer, and it has to run with no bugs. I mean, I should say, like, when we started SpaceX and Tesla, I mean, I really thought the probability of success was very low. I mean, it wasn't like I think, oh, we'll definitely be successful. I thought we'd be like maybe 10% likely. And like, we came very close to both companies not succeeding in 2008. We had 3 failures of the SpaceX rocket, so we were 0 for 3. We had the crazy financial recession, like the Great Recession. The Tesla financing round had fallen apart because like pretty hard to raise money for a startup car company if GM and Chrysler are going bankrupt. Yeah, that was a tricky one. Unfortunately, at the end of 2008, the 4th launch, that was the last launch we had money for, worked for SpaceX, and then we closed the Tesla financing round, as you know, Christmas Eve 2008, last hour of the last day that it was possible.
First of all, I really take some thought to like, how can I provide advice that would be most helpful? And I'm not sure I've given enough thought to that to give you the best possible answer. I think certainly being focused on something that you're confident will have high value to someone else, and just being really rigorous in making that assessment, because people tend to, a natural human tendency is wishful thinking. So a challenge for entrepreneurs is to say, well, what's the difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that doesn't actually have merit? And that is a really difficult thing to tell you. Can you tell the difference between those two things?
Right.
So you need to be sort of very rigorous in your self-analysis. I think certainly extremely tenacious, and then just work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in 80 to 100 hour weeks every week. All those things improve the odds of success. I mean, if other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you know that in 1 year you will achieve what they achieve. You will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.